Hey, Coach, any injury news?
Obi and Arch.
Okay. Coach, offensively, when you look at the Kings, they're a very dynamic team. What is it that stands out to you, how they pressure your defense?
I think the speed, the speed, unselfishness, Fox pushing the ball, Sabonis can push the ball. Adding Herter was a big pickup for him because it's not only the shooting but the playmaking that goes along with it. Murray, terrific. Harrison Barnes is probably one of the more underrated players in the league. So quality depth coming off the bench, Davion Mitchell, Monk. So they're scoring a lot of points.
With RJ, he's talked about how he's made a concerted effort to attack the rim, and obviously that's his game. But how have you seen that impact him over the last 3 weeks or so?
Just the aggressiveness, I think, putting pressure on the rim, and also making rim reads. And so I think everyone shares in the responsibility of creating rhythm for the team. So when the second defender comes, whether it's the lob or the skip to the corner, I think he's making really good decisions right now. He's got to continue to do that.
What can you see in terms of his ability to finish himself around the rim? That was also one of the things that he was focused on.
And I think he's gotten stronger. I think that's important. And I think the more he goes and the more aggressive, I think generating speed for him to get downhill is important. What the officials are looking for is how much speed have you generated. And if you go slowly and there's contact, you're not going to get those calls. And so I think getting to the bonus early in each quarter is critical for our team. We know the value of a free throw. It's a high value shot, so the more we can get there, the better. And the value of layups, shots in the restricted, and then what comes off of that, whether it be the offensive rebound, the skip to the corner for the three, those things are value shots, and the more value shots you take, the better your offense will be.
The last 3 games you guys have been playing at a slower pace. It's obviously worked out. Is that on purpose? Is that a concern?
Yeah, I don't get stuck so much in the pace of it. Like, we scored 121 points, and so if we score, it's how we get there. The free throw is good, and I just want us to take the right shots. I think if we do that, and it allows us to get our defense set, that's a big plus.
Like RJ said the other day, that on that note, that the goal is make them work for 24 seconds, and if we get it, still push like we want to.
Right. Well, the pace is, like, if you're making a team go deep into the clock, there's not going to be as many possessions. I think we're fifth in shots per game. We want to play fast and we want to go, but sometimes that can be dictated too by, are we making them use a lot of clock?
Yeah. Tom, your teams haven't typically played as fast as you guys are this year. It seems to have made an emphasis on that. What kind of led you to make this?
Just looking at our personnel, like, we're young and we're athletic. And I thought, okay, we're trying to attack the rim to get to do so before the defense gets set, and then can you create high value shots off of that? So the layups, free throws, the open threes, we know that trying to get to those shots is a big part of winning.
Sabonis has been one of the most efficient post players in the league this season. Just what makes him so effective in this situation?
Crafty, uses his body well, utilizes shot fakes, gets to the spots that he wants to get to. But I think in general, it's his all-around play. He can play away from the basket. He can play back to the basket. He can face up, put it on the floor. Very good with dribble handoffs. Can fake dribble handoff and keep. But he knows how to play in all areas, and I think that's made their offense that much more effective.
What have you seen from Coach Brown since he started as head coach of the Kings?
Mike's been around a long time. I think all his experiences have helped him. I think he's always been a heck of a coach, and I think he's doing a terrific job with them. I think you look at all his teams, and you look at his experience in Golden State, And that adds to, you know, what he already had been. And so I think each experience teaches you something.
Tom, what did you think of Jericho and Hartenstein together? And was part of that because of the opponent, or is that something you want to get more of a look at?
Yeah, we'll see. I like the look of it. I thought the rebounding was really good. I thought second half we got some really good looks offensively with those guys also. So we'll see how it unfolds.
Are those two sort of interchangeable when they're in there together, or?
Yeah, well, it depends on who they put their five on. So they are interchangeable from that standpoint. One guy will play away from the basket a little bit more than the other. But Jericho's very effective in triple handoffs as well.
Coach, on this season, you've held opponents to 34% from three, which is top 10 in the league. We've talked a lot about that. Over the last three, that number's gone down to 21%. In the last 3 games, what is it that has stood out to you about your three-point defense?
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I think sometimes what gets overlooked is not looking at things in totality. I think we were 6th in the three-point field goal percentage. I think we're up to number 2 in overall opponent field goal percentage. So I think it's being connected. I think Deuce and Quentin have added a lot to that as well. But it's everybody. Where do threes come from? And it's usually transition. It's usually a pick and roll game, and then the offensive rebound. So I think everyone's responsible for sharing in, containing the ball, protecting the paint, and then getting out and covering the line. So that's something that we have to continue to work on. You could do it well for a few games, and then you could have slippage. So we got to make sure we continue to do it.
It seems at different points of the season you're running the offense for Jalen, for RJ, and now Julius. Is that accurate? And do you, what's the pluses and minuses?
Well, transition, it's, like we want to push. So that's whoever's open. There's no, like this guy, that guy. It's just get the ball up the floor, make the right reads, play as fast as you can, attack before it gets set. And then a lot of times the game just tells you what to do. If they're blitzing the pick and roll, then we know we want to get to the second pass. If they're double teaming Julius, we know we can play off that. If they're switching something, we can take advantage of that. It's like trying to get everyone comfortable with playing smart. What gives us an advantage? How do you get 2 onto the ball? And then let the game tell you. Just make the reads.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.